Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to the iSlam podcast. Today we are doing our annual award ceremonies here. I am joined by the man himself, Mr. Habibi.
Assalamu alaikum, guys.
Assalamu alaikum, bro. How's it going?
Wa alaikum salam. Always good when I see you. This is actually one of the best moments of the season. Award nights.
Yes. So as you can see, I have the COVID look, right? Because you
I
gotta
do
wear a
see
mask
that,
everywhere.
but it suits you. It suits
Dude,
you.
this thing is too hot, man. I can't do that. All right. So I think we were supposed to be joined by Mr. Asawi as well.
Yep,
I'm not sure if he's joining, but we'll start the festivities without him for now. That's fine.
absolutely.
All right, bro. So here we go. So we have the awards to present today. We have quite a few of them, but I think the first bunch is going to be very stat based. So let's see
Yep.
what we got here. And just to preface this, neither Habibi nor I have actually seen who the winners are. So our reactions are going to be pretty spot on. Well, not spot on,
Pretty
but
raw, and we purposely did
raw and
that actually.
authentic. Yeah. So the slides were created by Mobeen. So we haven't seen the results yet. So we're looking forward to seeing who wins what.
Yep, and
So
also as a premise. Yeah, sorry. Also as a premise too, I think we touched on some of the statistical awards last week, so they might seem repetitive, but I think for the purpose of tonight, it still goes to we still have to acknowledge those winners as well.
Exactly, and that's exactly what's happening here is stats based awards. We covered this last week, but if you saw it, but we'll go over it again. So these are the awards that are based on stats. So obviously, top scorer Adil Chauhan 18 points, most goals Zaid Khaler with 8. Playmaker is Mohammad Qazi and Adil Chauhan. Lowest goals Zaid Agji, and of course the two champions of each division, Ihsan and Rida. I think we might go into a little bit more detail on each.
Yep.
So as you can see, Adil won with 18 points, 7 goals, 11 assists. I don't need to read this out. You can pause it later on and really look through if you want to. But the man, very impressive. 4 points against one team, one of the nights. But yeah, for a defenseman, that's very impressive indeed. Okay, Playmaker Award. This was split between the two GMs. Both of them, I guess, GMs for their teams, and both of them defensemen. So that's also quite impressive.
Yeah.
Again, apologies for rushing through this, but we've already gone through it, right? So you don't want to belay the point. One of our young stars here, 8 goals, 4 of which came against Yakin on one night. Still very impressive. Lowest goals against average. So Zaid Agji with 1.44 goals against average, which is amazing. In fact, I think on one of the games he got lit up for 6 against Ihsan. If that didn't happen, I think his goals against average would have been
lower,
pretty close to 1 or below, I would say.
Yeah.
Right.
Love the headshot though. I mean, it's pretty rare to get a goalie shot without their mask on, but
you don't recognize them, right, without it.
No, not at all.
What's Zaid saying here? You guys don't check out the site? What are you talking about?
I think he was talking about stat based.
Oh, okay. So again, Mecca Division champions was Ihsan, and Winter Division champs, Winter Medina Division champs is Rida. Okay, so now let's get to the good part, which is the following awards are determined by the OC. So the media team doesn't have anything to do with it, nor does anyone else. It's strictly the OC members who do this.
Yep.
So the first one is the Naim Buttar GM Award. So basically, it recognizes the top GM or GM pair or trio in a given season. And this year it is, let's see. No, wrong button. Sorry. I had a drum roll here somewhere, but I guess it's not to be. Anyways. All right. So the winner is Daud Chiamber and Kadir Motiwala for Ihsan.
Yeah, and I think for us, I mean, when it comes to an award that's nominated by by the OC, it's not only what we see as an OC member, but it's really um, an award that we kind of put our ears to the ground and we kind of listen what the players say. So the comment that I see here, I can't read it that much, but it was actually written by Bilal, and I really can't see it. But I mean, the testament was really just kind of creating that atmosphere both on the ice and off the ice, and the culture that they've created really stand out to what Iceland's all about. So, from what I heard in the locker room, they fostered a really good relationship and a really good brotherhood that kind of went outside of hockey. And I heard that they had a team of iftar during Ramadan, which is great because it also showed us that not only do we share that common brotherhood of the game that we love, but also you know establishes what Iceland's all about, which is the brotherhood as well. So I think for us this was kind of an easy award to kind of give to them. At the end of the day, all GMs do what they do in terms of making sure that they have the best product on ice. But I think for this one, because of what we've seen in terms of the relationship that they fostered outside,
Yeah.
kind of made it easier for us because this was not something that we've decided coming out from a player like Bilal Hafiz in terms of just kind of making sure that his voice is heard, that the culture that they've inhibited, uh, was great both
Mhm.
on and off the ice. It was kind of one of those decisions that
Yeah.
kind of made it easier
This
for us.
duo best exemplifies sort of the values of Islam and what we strive to do.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, both great guys as well. I haven't really had the opportunity to play with either of them, but I can see them definitely, like both of them, whenever I see them on the ice, or definitely when I see them enter the arena. They both come in with so much so much enthusiasm and
Yep.
smiles that it really lights up any room whenever we see them. So
Yeah.
congratulations to them in terms of winning the Nassim Buttar GM award.
And also special congratulations to Kadir, who recently got married in last week, I think. So congratulations, brother.
I heard it can either make your game better or it can make your game worse. I guess we'll find out in the next couple of weeks,
We'll
inshallah.
see. We'll see. We'll see how he responds to marriage.
Yeah,
Yes, once again, congratulations, guys. Really, really well deserved. You can tell when they show up at the arena, their team is always smiling. They're happy. They're joking around. So it only translates onto the floor.
absolutely. And the fact that they won their division as well just kind of makes it, from a statistical point of view in terms of what they've done, making their team win that division also speaks volume as well.
Yeah, and I think Mobeen here had a pretty good point, which is both Rida and Ihsan, they hardly had any kind of player movement. So they drafted well and then they managed their team well. So they didn't really have to make much changes.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. The next award is the Brotherhood Award. This is given to the player judged to have exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and Muslim conduct. So this is
Correct.
our version of the Lady Bing, basically, right? Or
Yeah.
even better, actually, because Lady Bing is usually least amount of penalties and whatnot. But this really is a special award to really exemplify one of the core values of Islam, which is brotherhood.
Absolutely.
And the winner for this is none other than Mr. Abdullah Patel, who is the
Absolutely.
Sheriff GM of Iman.
And the fact that you say that actually made it easier for us to actually give him this award because I mean, he's one of those brothers that I guess from our point of view, nothing goes unnoticed.
Mhm.
He's definitely exemplified leadership during the past couple of seasons in terms of like doing what he needs to do to make sure that his team kind of, sorry, his team kind of builds on what they have and just kind of faces turbulences when they can. So he
Mhm.
definitely, swept, came from the ranks, no matter where he was drafted from, kind of took the bull by the horns, and actually, did what he had to do to make sure that at the end of the day, his team was where it needed to be, even though he didn't have that GM title.
Yeah, and you know what? With him, Iman has had a pretty turbulent season, and I think he was one of the more, rocks on the team. He played really well. I think he finished third or fourth in scoring, which is amazing.
Yep.
Made all the moves he needed to make. So, mashallah, Abdullah, really, really well deserved. Had a fun time with you as a real GM versus a co-GM, where you offered me a lot of stuff. So that was good. I enjoyed our banter.
Yeah, but not only that, but his commitment to the game itself. I
Yeah,
mean, I know
absolutely.
last week he skipped a wedding just to show up for the game, and then just kind of like he
And he
came
got
in.
4 points.
Yeah, he got 4 points. Did what he had to do, but his commitment to the game, his commitment to the team, his commitment to I guess the Iceland community in terms of making sure that he does what he has to do to make sure that his team uh, you know you know gets the product of a good player.
Yep.
I think exemplifies a well-deserved award, and definitely to the title in terms of making sure that the brotherhood of his team
Yeah.
was definitely kept in, even when there was turbulence.
Even in his own team, players expressed concern about how the team was doing, how it was functioning. Yet every one of them, to a T, had nothing but praise for Abdullah. So, mashallah, really good job. And I really hope Abdullah steps up in the future to actually take on a full, legit GM role, because I think he would do really well.
Yeah, keep your ears to the ground. I think we're working on that.
He skipped a wedding to get the points lead. Nice. Good stuff. All right. Next award, major awards voted. So this is, I believe, what it's voted by the media
The
team.
GM. Yeah, okay.
I think it's this one's by the media team, and I'm not sure if the OC also votes on it, but it's basically voted by a lot of folks. There's an
Yeah, I
actual
just want to re-amplify that the OC have no say when it comes to the voting awards.
yeah, except for that first one,
Except for the
GM.
first two, correct? Yeah.
So voting procedure, I don't know if you guys can read this, but basically media teams come up with a list of 3 finalists. Then based on the finalists that is provided, each of the,
The GMs.
each GMs rank 3 finalists, first, second, third choice. Then the finalist with the most points is declared the winner. So it's the GMs that get to vote, and it's based on a point system.
Yep.
So the first one is, let's see, Rising Star. So this is, I guess, the new version of the Rookie of the Year. And I think, again, we talked about last week, which is
we did. Yeah.
We're just kind of changing how it's formatted, so that even though it might not be your first year necessarily, you can still get nominated because it's one of our younger players here. So for this one, here, what did this Mobina saying? We had some polls on IG to get a vibe on who people thought that they would who would win, and from the poll, looks like Zaid Khaler should win with a 51%. So let's see what is up here. I got my drum roll. Figured it out.
Got it. I hear you.
And the winner is none other than Zaid Khaler.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like I know a few slides we checked earlier. Yeah, a few slides we checked earlier was the fact that he was the leading goal scorer of the season. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I know we talked about it last week.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 players are obviously more than eligible and more than deserving to win it. But just the work that we've seen from Zaid in terms of doing what he's done for his team. His team actually did capture. I think they won. They were the best team overall, I think, in the season. And the work that he's done in terms of contributing to the goals, it's definitely good to see that the youth in the league are rising up, and to see one of them blossoming to a lead goal scorer is nothing more than a well-deserving recognition for a player like Zaid.
Yeah, and my guy here, Hussein, he was on a tear at the beginning of the year, and picked it up at the end. I think in the middle, just as the overall team kind of slumped a little bit, so did his production. But had he been able to keep that up, I think he would have had a really great shot at winning this. But as you can see from the points, there's only like a couple of points separating each one of these guys.
Yeah, which goes to show what we were saying earlier. Any one of those three would have been well deserving. And again, the fact that Riddle did come out overall, as the best team because of the contributions that Zaid Kaler won. I think it's well deserved by Zaid. But again, no need to downplay the work that the other two have done, because I'm sure they've also contributed well to their team output as well.
And also remember, these are based on regular season. So whatever
Correct.
playoffs might have happened thus far did not have any kind of influence over these selections.
No.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is actually a great one.
Yeah, and we talked about this kind of last week too. It's good to see all these players up, because all these players are veterans of the league, and definitely a very, very big piece and component of each and every team that they play on.
Yep, Ali Wadi, of course, everybody knows what he's brought to Islam over the years. Farouk Sani, also a veteran. Hamza Shakil is the new kid on the block here, if you will.
Yeah.
But mashallah, proving very, very easily why he was picked so high in the draft.
Yeah, and I think Hamza, just as a note to Hamza, I think we touched upon this last week as well. Hamza did also win Player of the Week in one of the 10 weeks that we played. So, rising star, but definitely, not gone unnoticed. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So the polls had suggested that Ali Wadi of Iman would win this 42%. That's what they said. Second would be Hamza Shakil with 30 and Farouk Sani with 28. So again, fairly close.
So the good thing is that to the audience, that Arif and I have absolutely no clue who won. So it's a raw reaction in terms of who won and who didn't win. But I think if you had to pick Arif, who would you actually go for in this one?
Well, I gotta go with Sani.
We truly don't know.
I gotta go with Sani. He's my boy. He's on my team. As much as I love the other two brothers, I've played with Farouk a long time, so my opinion is going to be heavily biased. But even if I try to take my bias out, I know what Farouk does, and in terms of being a defensive forward, my vote is for him. But let's see.
Yeah.
Aha!
There you go.
All right. So how does this work exactly? There's 2 points. Is that a double winner or what? Mobeen, I don't know if you're watching or you are watching, but how does this work? How does...
well, there's an asterisk on the bottom.
Yeah, but the asterisk should lead to something else. Sani won via tiebreaker. And what was the tiebreaker? We'll wait for him to speak up. Do you know, Habibi, what the tiebreaker was?
I actually don't know. Like I said, this is the information for me. But I mean, if I was to talk about Iman and what and what what Wadi has done for his team, he came in mid-season. So and the fact that he's come in and move up to the procedure slide. Okay. So I think he's saying that it's back in the procedure slide. But just looking at what he did in terms of like coming in mid-season and turning in the misfortune into a team that turned out better, because I do know Iman did have some turbulence in the beginning, but just the injection of Ali Wadi and the leadership that he's brought to the team midway into the season to kind of change that team around, I would probably say that would probably be a good guess into why he won that. But again, I would vote for any one of these three. The contributions, obviously, you would know because you did you jammed the Yakin team. So I know that playing throughout the years with Farouk Sani, we know what contributions that he has. But again, with Hamza Shakil in terms of Hassan, despite the fact that nobody knows who he was, just the fact that nothing that he's done gone unnoticed, the fact that he's one Player of the Week, one of the weeks, could have easily been for me that pick for defensive forward as well.
So here's I think Mobeen is explaining it, which he's saying that in the event of a tie, the finalist with the most first place points would win. Now first place 2-2, so then we go to the second tiebreaker, which is the person with the most number of second place votes would win, which is also 2-2. Therefore, the third tiebreaker is if it's still tied, the player whose team finished higher in the standings will be the winner of the award.
So it was neck and neck either. It was neck and neck between Ali Wadi and Farouk Sani for sure. But to be honest with you, if individually, both of them would have been well deserving. I think probably my vote would have probably went to Ali Wadi only because of how that team turned around mid-season. But again, we don't have
Yeah.
any say in this, and I think it would have been well deserved for any of these three
I think
players.
Sani also had more points of both of these gentlemen, I think. Plus, actually, Zayed makes a good point, which is both Ali and Hamza played D for parts of the game. Farouk is the outright winner because he pretty much played forward. But you know what? Like I said, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
There really is no real losers per se. Yeah, Sani just happens to be the one here on this day. So congratulations.
Which is the reason why you and I, RF, like to do this raw, because we like to find out exactly when everyone else finds out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes it more interesting that way.
Next one, best defenseman. All right, we got Mr. Kadir, Adil Chauhan, Adil Patel. Like, I mean, imagine having all three of those on your blue line. Holy cow!
And they're all GMs, and they're all respective rights. Obviously, you see two of the teams that won their respective divisions, and obviously Adil Chauhan, not winning because there's only two divisions, not winning his division. But we all know what Adil Chauhan provides in terms of the contribution as a defenseman. And so, I mean, all three of them are well deserving. I really don't want to throw my bias because it really could go any of the three way.
And you know what's
RF,
interesting?
who would you pick?
Is last year Adil Chauhan and Adil Patel played together, and the year before Kadir and Adil played together. So it looks like Chauhan has played with everyone here on this board.
Defensive pairing for all three of them.
Those are pretty sick teams. It's hard, man. It's hard. Again, Adil.
It is hard.
He's my teammate, my co-GM. But also Kadir, I've had some wonderful seasons with him, seeing him sort of grow up almost in Iceland. So it's good. And of course, Adil Patel. I mean, the guy's he's hilarious. I only got to know him a bit more better this year, but he's a joker, and I love him, mashallah. So we'll see what we have in store. Let's see.
Drum roll, please, on this one, because I really don't want to pick on this one. There you go.
There you go. So you have Adil Patel with the winner with 19 points. So that's a pretty big separation. First place votes are almost the same, but he got a lot of the second place votes. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, we said from the very beginning, I mean, it could have been to all three of them, but I think the reason probably the votes swayed to a certain direction is probably the team itself. I mean, the team did win first place overall in the league. They're a strong team throughout. You did mention throughout the podcast that they're one of the teams that didn't make that many changes, but despite the GM contributions in terms of what he's done as a defenseman, he definitely is one of those players that can change a game when he's there. So it's just it could have gone to any of the three of them, but Adil Patel is one of those players when he's there. Any goalie, if they're out there, probably feels comfortable that that he's there and he's got your back.
Yeah. One could argue that even with Adil Patel missing, their team still managed to win. With Chauhan missing, his team never won. But that's just my bias showing here. Congratulations to Mr. Patel. Awesome job.
And he didn't bribe us, by the way.
No, bro, you deserved it. I think when you buy everyone so many sticks for discount prices, the votes sway in the right direction. I'm kidding.
Maybe that's what he did. I don't know. Maybe he bribed the GMs. I don't know.
Sticks for the OC. There you go. All right. Congratulations, Adil. Next one. Top goaltender. This is always a tough one. Zayed Akji, he was expected to be there. He was, talked about as being potentially the best goalie in the draft. Makes his way to the top three. But I'm really, really happy for both Mohammed and Yusuf. They were not at the top of the list when the season started, and the fact that they made it here, mad props to them.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that last week too. I mean, Zaid Aji is obviously, a GM, one of the GM pairings for that. So right off the bat, the expectation is your GMs would be your top two players. So, Zaid Aji definitely had that kind of, pressure from the onset. But you're right. Hamad Mogul and Yusuf Kapoor were kind of those goalies under the radar, but they're not under the radar under Iceland. We both and we all in Iceland know the contributions that can hold in terms of like providing that goaltending experience and that sound leadership inside, between the posts. But you're absolutely right. Mad props to both Mohammed and Yusuf for making this list. Obviously, we can't have all six, but all six
Yeah.
obviously deserve to be up there. But Mohammed being on that team that obviously led. I mean, it goes to show again that we do have a representative from Hassan and Lirada,
Hmm.
both on this award list to show they're both the respective the winners of their divisions, and obviously a big part of that is their goaltending. So it's good to see that the nominations in terms of Hassan and Lirada are there because
Hmm.
they're a big contribution as to why their respective teams did win their divisions. And it's also again good to show that Yusuf Kapoor has been there. Yusuf Kapoor has been a veteran of the league for so many years. I think he's won this award many times as well. But just to be amongst those three is, it's a good thing to have a good
Yeah.
representation in terms of what those three goalies provide.
So I was asking Zaid Maju in the comments that
Yeah.
as a goalie in the league, who does he think deserves this one? So his comment is that Mogul played the best and really pulled out the wins and ties for his team. So I guess that's his prediction. Ishmael Malik, Mogul by a mile. All right, that's looks like a big cheer for them for Mogul. Looking at the votes here that was on Instagram, I
Yeah.
can paste it here. So the numbers are Zayd Agji by 55%, Mohammed Mogul 26%, and Yusuf Kapoor 19%. So let's see who we have.
This should be a good one.
And we have Mr. Agji winning it with 21 points versus the next closest would be 17.
Yeah, and I don't think the other two goalies should be disappointed. I mean, the
No.
fact that they're getting recognized to me is for, far most and more important. I think the fact that Lille did win the best, you know, they were pretty much the best team in the entire league. It kind of
Yeah.
sways the vote, kind of, or quite, sways the kind of thinking of how the GMs are voting for. But again, you know, Zayd Aji is a GM as well, so it's kind of like added that
Mhm.
extra pressure on both Kapoor and
Yeah, he was the most
yeah.
consistent too. I would say most consistent out of. I mean, they all three of them had fantastic seasons, but Zayd definitely had more consistency. And also, I would say, as a shooter, um, Zayd gets in your head a lot like Ali Khawaja does, right? Before the game even starts. You can talk to some of the Takwa guys from not this past one, but the season, the week before, where Ali just got in their heads and they couldn't seem to get it past. Zayd has that same effect where shooters just think, you know what, after he's made a couple of saves, we're not getting anything by him. And that aura is also a good indication of how good a goalie is.
I think it's a left-handed glove too. I mean, like it's one of those things where us forwards are kind of used to that right-handed glove, sorry, the left-handed glove, and he throws you off with that right-handed glove and holding the stick with with the left hand. But again, like we're all saying that we're being kind to Zayd, but Zayd,
Mhm.
it could have been all three of them. But Zayd, the fact that he's led his team, um, and with a goal against average as low as it was, um, I think the voting kind of went where it should have on this one.
Yep, absolutely. Zayd here also saying, Zayd Maju, that is, saying that, well, first of all, Mohammed Mogul saying, you guys are too kind. Congratulations, Zayd Agji. And Mr. Maju saying, I'm going to let you finish, but Mogul was the best out there. All right. Well,
So,
to
but
each their
But again, to that point, Mogul did play extremely well. There's no question
own.
about that. So did Yusuf Kapoor as well. There's no question that, about what we've seen from Mohamed Mogul, and I'm sure, and I hope the GMs will actually notice that for the seasons upcoming, that Mohamed Mogul, as drafted as where he was last season, that he won't go, drafted that low, because we've seen, the development of Mohamed Mogul in Iceland. I know he's been playing for many, many years, but in Iceland he's kind of new to the league. But what he's shown in terms of like stealing plays and all the acrobatic moves that he's done. Yes, Zaid Maji, we've seen the highlights that Mohamed Mogul has done. But again, like, I just want you to know that RF and we have absolutely no clue who wins these awards. So we're just kind of like going with the flow on this one as well. But I agree with you. I mean, the highlights that Mohamed Mogul has done is definitely one of those things that will get noticed for the seasons upcoming, because I'm sure the GMs did take note that there are upcoming goalies that probably should be drafted well earlier than they were last
That's
season.
right. And I'll say, before we leave this topic of goalies, at the beginning of the season, we did something different where we had a long list of goalies who wanted to play, but we only have 8 spots, right? So the GMs were actually asked to go through that entire list of goalies who sort of registered and say, pick 8 that you actually want in here. So already the 8 that made it, they made it past the cut. And then on top of that, these 3 gentlemen, they made it to the top 3. So already there, that's big not credentials, but what's the word I'm looking for? That's a lot of faith and confidence that all the GMs have in these goalies, and then from there to win outright, that's amazing.
I just want to say salam to Adil Patel that entered the chat, as Zaid Maj just mentioned.
All right, we're getting near the end, and I think this is the last one, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the regular season MVP. So once again, 3 GMs, Adil Patel, Adil Chauhan, and Mohammad Kazi.
So again, I think we touched upon this kind of last week. It's no surprise that all 3 of them are GMs. Again, we have poster child Mohammad Kazi for a summer league. Definitely one of those players that go underrated. One of those players that fly under the radar. But again, just his presence on the court when he's playing doesn't go unnoticed. Takwa definitely knows the contributions he brings, and he's definitely a contributing factor as to why Takwa's success and where they are. Adil Chauhan, we all know what he does to his team. We all know what he brings to the league. So no surprises there. And of course, Adil Patel. We all know what Adil Patel can do, and the fact that when he plays, the game definitely changes. So no surprises here on who the nominations are. It could definitely go any way. I'm not going to touch this one.
Of course, if you ask me, I have to again go with my co-GM Adil Chauhan. But in this case, I'm tempted to say Adil Patel because, his team finished first. Let's just put it that way.
And I think I was going to agree with you on that one too.
Yeah, he has a huge effect on that. Mohammad Kazi, he's my underrated superstar, as I've been touting for a long time. And he also got the better of us last week in the playoffs. But I think Adil Patel just wins it over the other 2 gentlemen. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I would probably agree, but again, it could go to any one of those 3. I mean, any one of those 3 are well deserving. Their statistical numbers go up there, but even without the stats, the contributions that they provide from a non-stat perspective, it could really go all 3 of them. But I'll probably lean towards your vote as well.
Why does Poster Child's pick have more lighting? He's just bright like that. What can I say?
Bright like a diamond.
No, I think it goes back to Adil Patel when he joined as a guest on our podcast. Remember, he was like in a truck in the dark.
He was on a truck somewhere in California, yeah.
On his way to Mexico.
and he came back with that tan looking like a Mexican, but we won't go there.
You go. All right, so looking at the Instagram polls, so Adil Patel, 55% of the votes, Adil Chauhan, 24%, and Mohammad Kazi with 21% of the votes. So let's see what happens here. Oh, wow. And the winner is Mr. Adil Chauhan by 2 points. Nice.
Congratulations. Again, this is it could have been any one of the three, but just to see how close the votes were, it's really surprising how um, how it went. But I mean, it's no surprise the contributions that Adil Chauhan provides to his
Yeah.
team. It's no surprise there. The fact that he's a defenseman has been able to contribute statistically
Hmm.
from a points perspective just goes to show that he was the most valuable player on his team.
Yeah.
And I'm think you being the GM of that team could definitely agree to that.
Hmm.
I mean,
Adil Chauhan, he won the scoring title as a
a
defenseman
defenseman,
while
yeah.
having missed 2 games, I believe. Right, so he didn't even play the whole season. He missed the first 2 games. But as I alluded to earlier on, I think even Adil Patel won. His team won games even when he was missing. When Johan was not there, we lost. We had almost no chance. So I'm super happy that my boy Johan won. But again, this is
Congratulations.
one of those things where they're all winners ABC, right?
Yeah, and it really just goes to show like the title of this of the award. It's the most valuable player to your team.
Hmm.
So again, you just said it. I mean, the fact that Adel didn't show up for those 2 games, it really did have a hindrance on your performance, and your team probably didn't perform as well as they could have if Johan was on the roster. And the fact that he's statistically the most dominant player on your team, the success of your team when they were in
Plays a
action
lot of
was
minutes.
definitely
Plays
heavily
a lot of minutes.
contributed to what Adil was doing. So
Hmm.
it's no surprise that that he's won it again, well deserving. I think he's won it before. It was definitely, or I think he was nominated before. Um, but again, um, the fact that Adil Patel was there too, and Kazi was there too. The fact that all three of them could have nominated, it could have gone to any of those three players for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? Kazi not getting any first place votes, even though who he went up against is pretty big. It just solidifies my statement. He's the most underrated superstar.
Underrated, absolutely.
Just doesn't
and
get
and
the respect.
and this is one of those things that it's nominated by his peers.
Yeah.
I think if we kind of maybe removed it and kind of put it out there to the fans itself, maybe we as fans will probably we know what he contributes in terms of like his underratedness, I guess. But
Yeah.
again, Kazi should not shy away from his contributions because we all know what Kazi does when he plays.
This is funny. Malton is fuming right now. Well, if you stop playing baseball and other games that are not sports and just focus more on hockey, then maybe you'll get more votes in the next time.
What is baseball, anyways?
Softball. It's not even baseball. It's not even hardball. It's just
Wow,
big,
Abdul
big
Manja did
ball.
not vote for Kazi. I just saw that because you can't vote for yourself.
That's also a good point to mention that all the GMs voted for everyone, but even if you voted for your own player as a GM, those votes don't get counted. So that's an interesting fun fact there. But that said, did Abu Manjur still vote for Kazi? Who knows?
Again, like we're and this is the beauty of this podcast, one of my best podcasts of the year, is that we really find out this information as raw as it is.
Yeah.
So the reactions of you guys in terms of finding out who the winners are, it's the same thing for us too. So
Yeah. So I think, well, you know what? We'll end that with a picture of Kazi here.
there you
How,
go.
how
Poster child.
appropriate. Riaz was saying Kazi is the goat.
Yeah, so I guess this is something that that Asawi would have touched upon because he deals with pretty much on the recruitments for the summer season. But there are some spots still available for the summer season. Again, I just want to reiterate what we talked about last week. What the summer season is all about. So the summer season really is about just really brushing up on your skills, getting all the playing time that you normally wouldn't have get, especially for guys like me, guys on the second or third line, to kind of just really just get out there and just kind of play in a game like environment,
Mhm.
but getting that exposure so that we do get
But,
into the more
but
competitive
I'm gonna
fall and
stop.
winter
I'm gonna stop
seasons.
you right there, though, Abibi. I think what you're saying is true, but I don't think we should downplay the summer season that much either, because there's also really good players. It's not a watered down version of Iceland, right?
No, absolutely not. And I'm not going to disclose who the GMs are, but if you
Yeah.
looked at the GM pairings that we got right now, they're really the same GMs that we've had and the same
Mhm.
elite players that we've been blessed with,
Yeah.
with the seasons in the winter and the fall season as well. So absolutely not. But again, it's not watered down. We still have the talent that we normally would have in the winter and fall season. But again, it's just a good opportunity for for the other guys to actually learn from those players,
Yeah.
because that's what Iceland's all about. I mean, all of us have played in the season. We played with 14, 13 guys this season. Next season, you're going to play with a different bunch of guys and form new bonds with
Yeah.
a different 13 guys and a different 14 guys. And then every season, it's the same thing. You're just going to earn more friendships, more bonds. But more importantly, what the summer season is all about, it's really on the hockey skills as well. So
Yeah.
you get to formulate and learn from two new GMs that you probably haven't played before, and actually get to learn from them. Fall under their leadership in terms of what they provide from a hockey perspective, so that you can also brush up on your skills as well.
Yeah, true. And not to take away Isawi's thunder or anything, but from what I've heard is we have 3 full teams worth of registered players already.
Actually, we have
4
more.
more at this point, right? Because I'm talking about what I heard from last Friday.
No,
And
we
there could
actually,
very well be 5 or even 6 teams, right?
so we definitely have over five,
Oh, wow. Mashallah, that's
and
amazing.
we're actually working on. We're like 3 or 4 players shy of six.
Yeah. Both our goalies here, Zaid as well as Mohammed Mughal, bringing up valid points, which is in summer, the hangar is really hot, especially for the goalies. So, Mr. Commissioner, can you provide them with some air?
Well, unfortunately, under the Iceland budget, we don't have air conditioners to kind of provide. Our budget is very low. we're we're a community-based organization that don't have that. But again, it's just one of those things where um, all 28 of us are playing under the same conditions.
Yeah.
So I know
Well,
goalies have this added
please.
pressure of the equipment and all that stuff. And Yusuf Kapoor has the luxury of spraying water all over the place. So like at the end of the day, I feel for you. I know what the goalies go through in terms of the conditions of the hangar, but that's pretty much
Yeah.
every single rink in the province. I mean, we don't have the luxury of the rink in Oakville, where it was a very well
Mhm.
seasoned air conditioned facility up in
Yeah.
Oakville. um, there's not that many ball hockey rinks that have that luxury of
I,
an
I
air
would
conditioned
I would
facility.
tell the goalies get some USB fans, attach it to your helmets, put like a battery pack in the back, and hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks,
Habibi
Aid.
provides the most air from his fans' shots, but that's counted for, with a lot of hot air from his stocking. Nice.
At the end of the day, but yeah, actually, Mohammed, the ceiling fan is going to be on.
Mhm.
We brought that to their attention last week, but it- it's going to be on for the season, for the next games and next game to come. But yeah, it's one of those things where we're under the mercy of the facility, and the facility in terms of what they provide is what they provide.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Zane doesn't like the existing hosts here, so he wants us to bring
Guess we're
back
too old.
Hanan to the podcast.
Hanan
But
is on hiatus.
he's in Pakistan of all
He's in
places, so
Pakistan.
he's
Yeah,
he's not coming back anytime soon.
talk about heat. Yeah.
But that does segue into the last point we want to make before we wrap up tonight, which is I believe this might be one of the last podcasts. There might be one more for the final preview. I'm not sure yet. In summer, we actually not sure yet. We might not have a lot of them podcasts. That is, but again, that's to be determined based on availability of the people participating. But
Yeah.
inshallah, for fall, we should have a fully booked podcast all over again.
Yeah. And to that point, I just want to commend all the work that you've done, Arif. I know you and I talked about this aside, but I think appreciation should be given when appreciation should be due. And I think the work that you've contributed in terms of providing these podcasts and providing that level of professionalism really speaks volume. And on behalf of the league, I also want to congratulate you in terms of doing what you've done so far in creating this podcast.
No, thank you. But as I always say, we have about a dozen people on the media team, and this is
Mhm.
not a one man show, as always. these slides and everything and the stats.
They make
are
it look easy.
generated-
Yeah, it's
they
the whole
it's generated in
it's
the
the whole
back.
media team.
We're at the tip of the iceberg here, just presenting the window dressing. The real work is done in the background. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and the congratulations goes to the whole media team as well. But in terms of the technical aspect, because none of us are as technical savvy as you are, and the outfit, got to commend you on the outfit.
I'm retiring this outfit after this. Man, this is hot. These guys are complaining about.
I know these guys are playing with the rink.
All right, sir. I think with that, we should start wrapping this up. Still one trophy up for grabs. All the best for remaining first. Yeah, that's true. Good
Yeah,
point.
absolutely. So yeah,
Main one.
congratulations to the remaining 4 teams, and I'm definitely looking forward to the semis and the finals, inshallah.
Inshallah. All right, gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. And you can actually come to the rink to watch the games now. So if you are free on a Friday, some great playoff hockey remains. So please join us there.
Come on down.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Arif.